Okay, so without further ado, we'll get started with the event today. So hi everyone again. Welcome to this month's Wellness Wednesday. Today we're going to be doing a community program showcase. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Elisa and I'm one of the program assistants for the BC Brain Wellness Program. And today I'll be serving as your MC for the event. And we are joined today by Claire, a very special guest who will be sharing about the Healthy Steps program. And throughout today's session, we'll explore different options that are available outside of our Zoom classes. And with classes beginning next week, some of you may be on the waiting list or have gaps in your weekly schedule to further explore some options. So this will be a good time to make notes of any programs that might be of interest for you. First, Claire will talk about the program offered by Healthy Steps, and then I will introduce some other programs such as Concerts in Care and Federation of BC Writers. So before we get started, I would like to first acknowledge that the BC Brain Wellness Program and the Javed Mahajan Center for Brain Health is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam peoples. I'm joining you today from Vancouver, the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsawwassen nations. As all of you are joining today from different places, I encourage us all to take a moment to reflect and give thanks to the land that we are privileged to work, learn, and play from. I would also like to take a moment to thank all of our program donors for supporting the BC Brain Wellness Program. Because of your generosity, we're able to provide these educational events and our online classes. As an entirely donor-funded program, we rely on your generosity to ensure the continuation and development of our program. So thank you for your ongoing support. Okay, so without further ado, I'll introduce our guest speaker, Claire. So Claire is a project coordinator with the Lifestyle Research Team and manages the Healthy Steps program, run out of the UBC Department of Family Practice. With a background in geography, biology, and public health, Claire's research and program interests center on making the healthier choice the easier choice. Her current work with Healthy Steps focuses on developing and offering programming that meets participants where they are and support them in the development of a variety of health habits. She also works to ensure hands-on training opportunities in lifestyle counseling, which are available for UBC learners. So now the floor is all yours, Claire. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. So as Lisa mentioned, my name is Claire, and I work here at UBC in the Department of Family Practice. I work with Dr. Robert Petrella, and in particular, I work on the Healthy Steps program, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today. So my background is in public health, and as Lisa mentioned, I'm really interested in this idea of making the healthier choice the easier choice. And it's part of why I'm so excited to be here today. And I'm so happy that Wellness Wednesday is focusing today on community resources that are available. Because I think it's probably pretty safe to say that a lot of us are really interested in making healthy choices. We want to make healthy choices, but that making healthy choices can be very difficult at times for a variety of different reasons. And that's where programs like Healthy Steps or some of the other programs that will be showcased today try and lend some support. So what I'm going to go through today is I'm going to talk about what the Healthy Steps program is, what it looks like, how it works. I'm also going to talk about why the Healthy Steps program was created, and why some of the practices that we try to promote can be so helpful. I'll share a little bit of data that we have in terms of some of the changes that we see in certain health behaviors from those who go through the program, as well as some of the changes in self-perceived health and well-being from people who go through the program. And I'll also share some information on how to sign up for the program if you're interested, or if you know someone who you think might be interested. And then also, I believe we have some time at the end for some Q&A. So I'll be available for that as well. So what is the Healthy Steps program? In essence, It's a healthy lifestyle program. It's run here out of UBC that's really interested in supporting the creation and the maintenance of healthy habits. It's a completely free program. It's for adults, so 18 plus, and the program does take place virtually. So most of the time, for most people, what that means is using Zoom. Often they'll meet with their coaches one on one using Zoom. However, the program is also offered over the phone. So, for instance, if you're not as comfortable using Zoom, or maybe you don't have a strong internet connection, or you just prefer talk over the phone, that is also an option that's available. And the program lasts about 6 months long, though that is variable and does change depending on your own availability and how swiftly you move through the program, which I'll touch on a little bit additionally a bit later. And in terms of the components that the program really focuses on, we tend to focus on physical activity and exercise, as well as healthy eating. And when I say healthy eating, the program is mainly based off of the Mediterranean diet, as well as the Canada Food Guide and the Healthy Plate. The program also includes mindfulness as well as time in nature. And so those are sort of the main touchstone points that the program talks about and around which people build their goals. So some people join the program because they've been referred to the program, say by their family practitioner or by a nurse practitioner, whereas other people join the program by a self referral process. So maybe they hear about the program from a friend or a poster in a waiting room or a session like this one, and they join themselves, they sign up themselves. So both types of referrals are welcome. And a lot of people join the program because they're interested in chronic disease prevention. That's probably the main reason why people join. But we also have people who join the program because they live with a chronic disease and are looking to pick up certain practices to help them manage that chronic disease. We also have people who maybe are looking to start building a certain habit for the first time. Maybe they want to start exercising or they want to change their diet, but they've never done it before. They're not too sure where to start, and this program can help them out in that capacity. We also have people who maybe are fairly familiar, who have exercised or who do pay close attention to their diet a certain way, but have gotten into a bit of a rut and are just looking for some help, maybe returning to some old habits. And then we also have individuals who join who are very familiar, who maybe already engage with exercise a lot, who are already paying close attention to what they eat, but are looking for some additional support or inspiration, or just a bit more of an accountability structure. So there's a variety of reasons why people join the program. And the way Healthy Steps is created is it aims to meet you where you're at and respond to your needs and be built around your life and your lifestyle. And so it can really be tailored in a whole bunch of different ways. Now, when someone joins the program, as I mentioned, they're paired with a coach, and this coach works with them in a one-on-one capacity to really figure out where they're at, introduce some concepts, and really take them throughout the program. And one of the key tenets of the Healthy Steps program is this idea of small, sustainable change and changes that can be easily incorporated into your everyday life. And we're really interested in changes that are easy enough to become part of your everyday life, that you can incorporate as a habit, that can add up over time, and that you can maintain after you've left the program and into your life. So, for instance, if someone joins the program and maybe they don't do any exercise at all right now, but they're interested in starting to exercise, maybe they'd sit down with their coach and they'd figure out what would be a reasonable amount to start exercising, and maybe they'd start with 15 minutes in the next week. And then if that went well, they might come back and see if they could do another 15 minutes the week after and discuss, what went well and what needs to be changed and how can this be something that's easily integrated into their life. And of course, depending on where people are at, what their background is, what their life is like, a small sustainable change will look very different for everybody. But that's where the conversation with the coach comes in and the tailoring the program to meet your needs comes in. So after you join the program, you're paired with a coach and you work with this coach one on one. And the way that the sort of program is structured is it starts off with a baseline session. And this is where the coach and the participant meet for the first time. The coach introduces themselves, introduces the program, and really helps find sort of a baseline readings for some of the practices that we talk about. And then after the baseline session, we have session one, that's about 1 week later. And then following session one, sessions happen about once a month. So you've got your baseline session, and then we've got 6 main sessions. And so the whole program lasts about 6 months long. However, this timeline is really flexible and it's based off of participant need and it's also based off of the coach availability. So maybe the participant's going on holiday and so needs to take a month off, or if someone comes down with a cold and needs to take a step back for a little while, totally fine. And the program is built to sort of shift around that. So even though 6 months is sort of the typical length, that can definitely change depending on participant and coach availability. And the way that the sessions look is that they're really focused on introducing these concepts that we're talking about, establishing baselines, finding out where the participants at, and then working on setting goals and then specific plans to reach those goals. And as you move through the program and you have additional sessions, what the sessions are about is checking in on those goals and plans, seeing where they're working, seeing what the barriers might be, and then readjusting those goals and plans accordingly. So Healthy Steps isn't a program where, say, someone like takes you to the gym and then you work on a workout routine with someone there, or it's not a program where you're in the session itself, like going through a mindfulness exercise. It's more about having these discussions, setting goals, and really providing accountability framework and structure in order to build up those healthy habits. So now that I've spoken a little bit about what the program looks like, what happens when someone joins the program, I'd like to talk a little bit about why Healthy Steps was even created in the first place. And that goes back to the importance of lifestyle factors in terms of our health. So, eating a healthy diet and engaging in regular physical activity is associated with things like living a longer life, and it's also associated with a decreased risk of some of the most common chronic diseases that we see here in Canada. So things like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and a number of different cancers. And so often we talk about engaging in some of these healthy lifestyle practices as a way of preventing chronic disease or of delaying the onset of chronic disease. But it can also be very helpful for the management of chronic disease. So, for instance, there's evidence that engaging in regular physical activity can be really helpful for diminishing the progress of Parkinson's or the pain that can be associated with Parkinson's. There's evidence that physical activity can help alleviate some of the side effects of those who are going through cancer treatments. A physical activity can help control blood sugar levels for those who may be living with diabetes. And so often people are really interested in these lifestyle factors for sort of managing these chronic conditions that they may have. And then, of course, engaging in these types of practices can also be really helpful for just general improvement of health and well being. It can help us navigate our days better, age independently, reduce our stress, help us with things like memory and focus. And so it makes a lot of sense that we talk about these in the framework of you may have heard of lifestyle medicine, or you may even have heard the term food as medicine or exercise as medicine, because they can have such a strong impact on our health. Even though we know that these things can be so helpful for our health, they're not always brought up when we visit the doctor, and often they're not prescribed when we visit the doctor. And when you say prescribed, what I mean in the sense is we don't always receive something written down, a recommendation about lifestyle factors that is tailored to us and that we can then take forward into our life. And so I have here a graph from a paper in 2013 that's looking at the proportion of Canadian patients who are receiving recommendations for physical activity and nutrition. And we can see that amongst patients who have type 2 diabetes, it's about just over 30% of them in the study are being recommended to improve their diet, and just over 16% are being recommended to increase their physical activity, which aren't exactly huge numbers, but it gets worse for those who are not living with type 2 diabetes, because it's around 10% of them who are being recommended to improve their diet or increase physical activity. And here we have a graph that's taken from a 2007 paper, so a little older, but it's looking at the percentage of family practitioners who will write like an exercise prescription or something written that their patients can take with either a recommendation for a physical activity program or a physical activity change. And if you look at that red circle, you can see that most of the family practitioners, in terms of writing something out, are kind of in that very rarely or that never category. So it's not happening too often. And then if we go back even further and we look at the medical school curriculum, things like lifestyle counseling, physical activity, talking about nutrition isn't the most prominent component of the current medical school curriculum. And there aren't always opportunities for students to engage in hands on training in lifestyle counseling and for them to be able to really build up that experience and that confidence and that capacity to bring that into their future practice. And then, on top of all of that, if we think about the things that we've been discussing here, things like engaging in regular physical activity and eating a healthy, balanced diet, there are a lot of barriers to engaging in those practices. And that can make engaging in those practices very difficult for a variety of reasons. So maybe you live in a neighborhood where it's not safe or feasible to walk, or the fact that buying the ingredients that make up what we typically think of as a healthy, balanced diet can be very expensive. Or maybe you're living with a condition that makes regular physical activity a near impossibility at times. Or maybe you have a job that requires you to sit all day and then a long commute on the end. And those are just a few of the factors that can make lifestyle change far easier said than done. And so it's in consideration of all those different factors that I spoke about that Healthy Steps was created. And Healthy Steps kind of has a bit of a dual aim. So the first is to support lifestyle change in individuals and to make sure that we have resources to help people engage in physical activity, improve their diet if that's what they're interested in, engage in time in nature and in mindfulness practice. But we also have this aim of providing hands-on training opportunities for students and for particular medical and allied health students who will go off and become healthcare practitioners in the future. And so the way that we try and address these goals is that the program is offered, as I said, for free, and the coaches in this program are volunteers, and they're usually UBC students. And in particular, as I mentioned, often medical students or allied health students. And a lot of these students engage as a coach as a part of a practical learning opportunity, so sort of part of a curricular component. And just to give you a little bit of data, we've had over 100 UBC students come through the program as coaches, and most of these students are medical students. But we've also had a number of kinesiology students, psychology students, dietetics students, and so we're really interested in supporting people right now in those helping build some healthy lifestyle habits, but we're also interested in supporting people in the future and ensuring that our future generation of healthcare providers has had those practical learning opportunities and are comfortable with lifestyle counseling and can bring those skills further into their practice. So, Healthy Steps has been functioning in its current form, so as a free program and as a virtual program, for just about 3 years now. It was set up in 2020. And this program is supported by research grants, and we do collect data from the participants at baseline, so when they first join the program, and then also at program completion, so usually at about 6 months when they leave the program. And I just want to draw your attention to a few things. So the first line here talks about step count, average steps per day. And so, as I mentioned, one of the main components of the Healthy Steps program is physical activity. And when we talk about physical activity in the context of the program, we're mainly talking about activity that you do sort of as a part of your everyday life. So things like when you're puttering around the kitchen, preparing a meal, and you're moving a little bit, it's physical activity. Or when you take the garbage out, or if you run some errands, that's all part of your everyday physical activity. And so we often measure that type of physical activity through a step count. And for some individuals for whom walking is not feasible or not possible, then step count isn't a good measure of physical activity. But for many of the individuals who do come through the program, step count is fairly representative of what their physical activity looks like. And so we do collect that measure. It's also fairly easy to track. And so what we see is on average, when people first come into the program, and there's quite a range, people are walking on average around 6,200 steps. And then at 6 months, or at program completion when they leave, they're walking again on average around 8,500 steps. And so we're seeing on average an increase of about 2,300 steps. We also see a decrease in sitting time. And so people report at baseline sitting around 430 minutes a day. And then at 6 months, they report around 376 minutes. So about a 54-minute decrease, so almost an hour less sitting time after the 6 months have gone by. Then we also have here this healthful eating score. So a healthful eating score is a composite measure. It basically, when people take these surveys, they answer a bunch of questions on how they eat, what type of things they're eating. It's things like how often you're eating fruits and vegetables, how often you're eating red meat, how often you eat junk food or convenience food or stuff like that. It takes all these things and it puts it into one measure. And slightly unintuitively, a lower healthful eating score is in fact a better healthful eating score. So you want to get as close to zero as you can. And when people enter the program, their healthful eating score is on average around a 5.45. And then when they leave, it's on average around a 4.15. And perhaps a bit easier to think of it in terms of the time that people leave the program, their healthful eating score has improved on average by around 20%. So I've been talking a lot about exercise, physical activity, as well as diet. And often when we hear the term lifestyle factors, those are kind of the main ones that creep to mind. But Healthy Steps also includes a mindfulness component as well as time in nature. And those were included because there's some really great evidence that mindfulness can help with improving sense of well-being, decreasing stress, that it can help manage chronic pain sometimes, and also that it can help with other habit formation as well. And then there's also some exciting stuff about the impact of nature and its ability to also like lower our stress, help us feel more connected to the natural world. And often when people are outside, they may be more likely to be engaged in some form of physical activity as well. And I don't have any data here to share with you in terms of time spent engaged in a mindfulness practice or time spent engaged in nature, just because those are slightly newer additions to the program and our data collection hasn't yet caught up. But I do have some stuff here about perceived well being. So we ask people a few questions. So one of the questions that we ask people on these surveys is to rate their health. And we ask them to rate their health on a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being worst health you can imagine, 100 being best health. And of course, this is a very subjective question. It can sometimes be a little hard to interpret. But we find that when people enter the program, they're usually rating their health on average around a 63 on that scale of 0 to 100. And then when they exit the program, they're usually rating their health somewhere more on a 76 on a scale of 0 to 100. So around an improvement of about 13 points on average. And something else that we ask people is we ask them a few questions about their well being. This is another composite measure. So we ask them some questions about how they're feeling, if they feel cheerful and in good spirits generally, if they feel active and vigorous, how they feel when they wake up in the morning, if there are things in their life that interest them, and these are questions that get at people's sense of well-being. And when you sort of score all the data and compile it together again, you can get a measure again, sort of out of 100. And we see that when people enter the program, their score is around a 56%. And then when they exit the program, it's around 65% in terms of a well-being index. And I personally, at least, find the information about the well being to be some of the more interesting and compelling information that we get from the program. It's fantastic to see people's steps increasing and people's healthful eating score improving because certainly we want people to be engaging in these habits. We know the impact they can have on our health, but we also want people to be feeling well, to be feeling healthy, to be feeling happy. And so I always get quite excited when I see the information about the well being from individuals who go throughout the program. So the Healthy Steps program, as I mentioned, is a free program. It's free for anyone to join. And if you are interested in signing up, we'd love to have you. And you can do so by visiting this website. So it's just at healthysteps.ca. I will say it's health and then the letter E and then steps.ca. It can sound quite confusing. It sounds like you should type it in healthy with a Y, but it is health E steps.ca. And I think it'll be posted in the chat as well. So if you want to just follow a link there, you can do that. And the website has sort of information about it, but if you do want to just sign up, you can click this button here that says, I want to participate. And that'll direct you to put in some of your contact information. And then following that, you'll be sent a pre-screening survey. That's just a survey that makes sure that it's safe for you to participate in the program and some of the physical activity components. And then if it is safe for you to participate in the program, following that, you will be matched with a coach. And your coach will reach out to you to set up a baseline session. I will say that there is a slight wait list, just given because there's a fluctuating number of people who are engaged in the program and coaches who are engaged in the program. So on average, from sign up to being matched with a coach, it usually takes around 2 to 5 weeks is kind of what you can expect in terms of waiting there. And as I mentioned, Healthy Steps is sort of a program where the sessions are focused on discussing things and creating goals and checking in on goals. And you may be more interested in a program that's a little bit more like hands-on, or where someone is with you and is taking you through activities or something like that. But what I will say is that the Healthy Steps program can very easily be paired with other programs or other things that you're engaged in. So if you are engaged in other programs where, for instance, you're going to the gym with someone who helps you out with that, or you're engaging in mindfulness exercises in a group or something like that, then you can very easily pair those existing activities with healthy steps. You just let your coach know, and then you can incorporate those into your goals and your strategies and your plans. So very easy pairing across this program and other programs as well to best fit your life. And whether or not Healthy Steps is the right program for you, I hope that today you've learned a little bit about what some of the community resources available are. And if you are interested in picking up a new habit or engaging in a particular practice like the ones we've spoken about today, I would encourage you to follow the sort of the Healthy Steps philosophy of small and feasible and sustainable change and incorporating small things into your life. And I guess just to remember that in this area of health promotion and lifestyle change, that doing anything, no matter how small or how slow, can be really beneficial and better than doing nothing. And that's everything from me in terms of my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention and for sharing your time with me.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much, Claire, for sharing a lot about healthy steps and just lifestyle changes and important factors. Yes, I had one question. Claire, do you, for example, I guess pretty much anyone can, from what I hear, join the Healthy Steps program, if they're like an adult. But do you like tailor certain discussion based on like individuals? Like how much kind of difference do you kind of recommend, or do the coaches recommend, based on their individual like conditions or goals?
For sure, yeah. So it is open to pretty much everyone. There is, as I said, that pre-screening questionnaire. So if you do have a condition that would make unsupervised physical activity potentially dangerous, that's pretty much the only reason why you may not be accepted into the program, is if it just wouldn't be safe. But if it is, then yes, we have a very wide range of individuals who join. So the program in sort of its most basic construction is very general, but it's meant to be very sort of participant led and therefore sort of matched to you. And it's all meant to be sort of based off of discussion with your coach. So, as I said, when you first join the program, your coach gets to know you, maybe what your background is, what your own goals are. Do you have anything that needs to be taken into consideration, a condition you're living with, an injury that makes something impossible, a certain diet that you have to stick to, somewhere you live that makes certain activities difficult? And then when you discuss how to bring those large general concepts, so things like incorporating more physical activity into your life, it goes through a conversation where you brainstorm ideas about, okay, well, what would be feasible for you? What do you know that you're already interested in, that maybe you've already done and you want to try more of, that's safe and accessible for you in your area? And then creating a strategy that's around that. So it looks very different for a number of different individuals. We have some individuals who are looking to just like walk like 3 minutes more a day, and it's about figuring out how and when they'll do that, where they'll do that, where it'll be safe for them to do that. And then you may have some individuals who are looking to like learn a new sport that they've never tried. And again, it's having that conversation with the coach of, okay, what do you want to do, how do you want to do it, where can you go to learn that, are there other resources that can help you with that? The coaches can also help link you to other programs or like search for things in your area. Obviously the coach isn't there physically with you, but you can share with them where they're at and they can help you do a little bit of research. So it definitely is meant to be tailored to the participant needs. And we're always encouraging the participants to indicate if they do want something different from the program. So perhaps if there's one component that's not right for them, or if they want to go more in one direction, then it's really meant to be sort of built around that.
Great, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, it's great that you guys have that like kind of personalized individual approach. So I think that's super unique about it. Um, believe there's no more questions for now, but if anyone has any questions about healthy steps to ask Claire, feel free to put it in the comments throughout the next little while as well, and then we can get back to it towards the end of the session as well. So do not feel afraid that you already missed the time if anything comes up. Okay, perfect. So thank you, Claire. So now we'll kind of move on to some other programs. So I will be sharing about those. So we'll share some programs. So here are the 5 programs that we will be talking about today. So these are 5 different creative and expressive programs shown here. And the links for each program will be posted on the chat if you are interested in bookmarking any of them for the future. And we'll slowly talk about each one of them. So we have Concerts in Care, Vancouver Women's Writing Courses, Federation of BC Writers, Painting and Play, Expressive Arts Therapy, and the Woods Arts and Wellness. So we'll go one at a time to talk about the opportunities that we have. So the first organization is the Health Arts Society with the Concerts in Care program. So the Health Arts Society was established by David Lemon in the early 2006 to meet the need for high quality life professional arts programs, specifically for elders in residential care. So combined with its sister societies in every province in Canada, the organization is now the largest arts presenter in Canada to audiences in healthcare and retirement communities. So the Society's Concert and Care program acts as like a conduit between the professional performance community and those who cannot now enjoy performances in concert halls and theaters. And they have a special program designed specifically for elders in BC. It's called the Concerts in Care Online, which is a weekly digital concert series. So this is currently offered for free to all facilities in BC. So if you are unable to kind of go out to local concert halls or attend any of the music concerts, this will be a great opportunity to join virtually. And then it is offered across BC. So there is a sign up link to register either as an individual, or if you're part of the care facility, there's also an option to request for like a care facility performance, which can be found on their website. So you can click on the website that has been posted in the chat to see more details. The next one is the Vancouver Women's Writing Courses. Their mission is to create vibrant, creative, supportive, and healing communities. And they do this through the Writing as Healing for Women program, the Muse Lab series, the Intuitive Development and Energy Work courses, and the Vancouver and Costa Rica retreats. So they offer quite a wide variety of programs, out of which the programs, they also offer free weekly circles. So they have the Muse Lab, Writing as Healing, and Women's Intuition. And as part of the mandate, they also offer one-on-one writing coaching and energy healing for women at any stage in their writing journey and process. And for the greater community, they offer empowering online and on-site wellness writing workshops for organizations and facilities. These workshops harness the scientifically proven healing power in writing to support staff and clients with stress reduction, trauma, and recovery. So if you're interested in registering for any of their programs and to look into further details about the variety of programs they offer, you can navigate to their workshops and the event page on their website, where you can find all of the information. So this will be great for someone who is looking to kind of expand their hobbies in writing and wanting that kind of supportive community from that. Next up, we have another writing organization. This one is not specific for women, so this will be more general, called the Federation of BC Writers. So they promote excellence and professionalism in the literary arts in BC, and their aim is to improve the status of the literary arts by encouraging publication, providing information on markets and workshops, sponsoring readings, workshops, and seminars, and establishing the communication between writers and interested agents and markets. So this one, it's all about promoting that writing and connecting people, making it easier for you to get started with that writing and publication process. So anywhere from that initial kind of brainstorming writing phase all the way until getting it on the market, you'll find the support in this group. They offer an annual membership, which allows for greater access to a variety of workshops and events, as well as other benefits that they offer through their membership. For a regular population, it is $80 per year, but for seniors age 65 and above, it will be $45. And then there's also some discounts for students, youth, as well as if you are willing to volunteer for their program, there is a special rate for that as well. So you can check that out on their website. So as part of their kind of membership programs, they offer writing circles and Saturday socials, which are currently on Zoom. The current intake for the full writing circles are open for registration now until September 16th, which is coming up pretty soon. So if you are interested, make sure to not miss the deadline, and you can find all about that through the website link. And the fourth program that we have, kind of switching up from the writing, is the painting and play, which is an expressive arts therapy specifically for people with Parkinson's. So this is a 6-week virtual expressive arts therapy group with emphasis on the process over the product. So really focusing on what goes in, all the interactions for people with Parkinson's. And this innovative art therapy approach has been shown promising results in alleviating symptoms that are commonly associated with the Parkinson's disease. So the main primary objective is to enhance emotional well-being, boost self-confidence, foster a sense of belonging, and providing with creative self-management tools, which are all proven to be helpful for them. And the group will be facilitated by 2 dedicated master's level practicum students who are in their final year of training as counselors and art therapists. So again, it kind of ties in the education component, getting the students who are obviously well experienced and prepared for this to teach this class. And each session will follow a structured but also flexible approach, incorporating various activities that involve gentle movement, art making, and some thought-provoking discussions. So it'll be a mix of different types of activities that you will be involved in throughout the 6 weeks expressive arts therapy group. Their purpose is to facilitate personal growth and exploration using the power of art to tap into emotions, memories, and aspirations. So it opens up quite a bit of room for discussion, as well as kind of exploring that power within you. And just going on to the specific details of the workshop, if you're interested, it will be running every Wednesday mornings, I believe 9:30 to 11. And the first workshop will start September 12th, 20th, and it will run until October 25th. So if you are interested, please do check out the website for registration. But just a note again, this is for people with Parkinson's, so it'll be limited for that. But if you're interested, you can sign up for the workshops in the website. Okay, and then our fifth organization that we want to highlight is the Woods Arts and Wellness. So they're about increasing personal and community well-being through engagement with nature and the arts. So research demonstrates that these to be a proven pathway to wellness, alleviating stress, changing perspectives, building connections, and also improving mood. And this evidence-based programs are led by trained therapists and facilitators, and access to the service are offered regardless of the age, ability, background, or financial situation. and they offer a bunch of affordable programs based in North Vancouver. It is ranging from free programs up to $15 per session on these group sessions. And then there is, if you're interested in more individual programs, there are some one-on-one sessions available as well. Some of the programs that they provide are nature-based therapy, visual arts, expressive arts, and yoga classes. So again, if you're interested in any of them or you have you want to know more about it, then you can go to their website to look around, and there will be an option to sign up as well. Okay, and finally is that it does wrap up the kind of introduction of all of the new programs that are in the creative arts and expressive arts field. Obviously not limited to those five, but there were hopefully that was kind of a good way for you to know what kind of programs there are out there for people in BC that are relatively affordable and accessible for all. And before we end the event today, I wanted to quickly share some of the resources that we offer as our brain wellness program on our website for those of you wanting to participate in some classes in your own time. So on our website under the classes tab here, so this will be what you'll be seeing when you go into our website, you'll find an option for program videos. On there, you can find many exercise and creative class videos that can be watched anytime in your own convenience. So we have a lot of exercise videos, yoga videos, care partners videos, creative videos. Just most of our classes that we do offer, there are going to be some videos that you can substitute in with depending on your schedule and if you want to take on more as well. And the direct link for this will also be posted in the chat if you would like to have easy access so you don't have to navigate through the website. Okay, so with that, that is all the time that we have today. So thank you so much, Claire, again, for sharing about the program of Healthy Steps with us, and also all of you today for joining us. I hope you were able to find a few programs that kind of sparked an interest in you and want to take on as we move on to the new term in September. But with that, we'll end it off, and we'll see you next month for our research seminar series. So please do look out for that information in future newsletters. But thank you so much again. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and then we can answer in the last remaining minutes.